Okay, again, for this next one, if we want to do this date operations, we can do it in either using the date operation style, or we could do it again later and add formulas, which I will show you. But here's a fast and easy way we're going to do it right now. Date operations. This is very similar to a calculator. We can start to do some manipulation to date. So I'm going to go grab date operation, connect it. I'm going to drop this a little bit low, little circle to little triangle. Now I have a couple things I want to show you before we actually get moving. Do you see how this top line is blue? Well, this line is also blue. Now, one really cool visual way we can keep a clean kitchen is I'm going to pick this first row, company name and ID. And here on the right, you see I have a blue little circle. Well, I can change that to be a different color. Now watch what happens if I make this dark green. The whole line turns dark green. Why do I want to show you this? Because having little things like that where we change color, that helps us keep a very clean ETL. It's a very good best practice because now I know this top line is doing something, this bottom line is going to do something very different for me. Okay. Little things like that go a long way. Okay. Let's go to date operations. So now I'm going to click date operations. This is going to be pretty straightforward. And what I can do here is I'm going to say subtract from dates, whatever. Then I'm going to pick an action. So I'm going to say subtract from date. And here you can say add to date, add a couple days, what I want to do, find the difference between days, tell me the year of the date, the quarter of the month, all these things that we have here. We're going to pick subtract from date. It's going to ask you, what are we taking out? Are we taking out days? Are we taking out months, weeks, hours? What are we doing? We're going to say days for now. And here we only have one date column. We only had one column that we call date, and that was formatted as a date. What if you don't see this? What's going on? Well, it could be that if you go back to your ingredients, your source, and we go to data handling, you have to make sure that date is a date type. Only dates are going to work for this date operation thing. If it's a text number, it's not going to work. You have to make sure that it is a date. Okay. So we're going to go to date operations. And here we're going to tell it to minus something. We're going to say, let's take out 5 days, minus 5 days from that. Subtract from date. Pretty easy. Hit run preview. Okay, let's go see if we did it correctly. We're going to go to preview. Our first date I have here is November 21st, 2023. So if I did it correctly, boom, 21st minus 5 is 11/16. We did it. Now, what's the big point? Why do I use this data operation? I'm going to show you how I actually use it. I'm going to grab another data operation, put it right next to this, little circle, little triangle, click, and I'm going to say difference between dates. And we're going to actually choose the difference between dates. We're going to pick, I want it to be in days, and we're going to pick date and then our subtract from date. The most recent one has to come first. So for instance, if you have today and you have another date column that's like the date that somebody signed up for some type of service or something, that has to go afterwards, right? We're subtracting that from the most recent one or the most advanced one. So I will actually use this a lot where if I have data on maybe an order, maybe I have data on something like when did somebody join a program and when did they make an order, something like that. So I can find the average later, the number of days that are happening between when somebody joined and when they made their first order. Or it could be when they were hired and when they were terminated. So now I have to have a numerical value for that. That's why we'll use date operations. Hopefully that makes sense. Okie dokie, let's go hit run preview. Okay, let's go to data operations, preview, and all the way here, we have subtract from date, which we did. Great, and then now the date difference, which is 5, because that's what we added. There you go. Now you know how to use the date and numbers section and date operations.